All right, in this video, we're going to dive in and look at how to automate vendor onboarding forms. One of the most important things in a business, especially if you deal with third parties, you want to make sure this process is seamless, quick, and gets all the information you need on the first pass. So like usual, I'm going to dive right in. The tool we're using for this is Docsflowy. So let me jump on over to the computer and show you how everything works. All right, so what you're looking at here is a simple vendor request form. It gets the core details you need from any vendor that you're working with. So I've already gone through and I've, tagged it up, done the needful, but I just want to give you a quick rundown of how it works. So the first thing you want to do in any kind of form you want to automate, you want to indicate the roles. That is, who is filling this out. That'll determine who needs to supply data to what. Since it's an onboarding vendor form, it's very simple. All you need is the vendor. So the vendor is a role here, and you have custom tags, default tags, and what's known as workflow tags. Now, custom tags are tags you can create custom, and they're available on every single workflow you create in your account. So if you create it in this vendor request form, it'll still show up maybe in an employee onboarding form. So that's why you need to be careful or considerate of the kind of custom tags you create. Then you have default tags. These are tags that are supplied by Docsflowy, things like first name, last name, long text, short text, address, things like that. Then you have workflow tags. These are unique to the specific automation workflow that you're creating. And this is so that you don't clog up your custom tags and make them unruly. So if you have a unique kind of workflow that you only use once or twice, then you probably want to use a workflow tag. That is, you only want to automate that kind of workflow once or twice as a dynamic template. Then you use workflow tags. So you create unique tags for this particular workflow, but they don't end up in your custom tags and available across all of your document workflows so that it won't become crowded and unruly. So as you can see, I've filled out this vendor request form with the right tags. Then I just want to click save and proceed. Once I do that, I can get to the document settings. So this is what it looks like for the end user, the vendor request form. You can control the name of it. You can add multiple pages. In this instance, I've added 3, and then I've categorized the sections. So the first section is company details. If I fill out all of these, so I've filled all of this out, and some of these have what's known as validation. So for example, phone number, if you enter a text character, then it'll reject it. Same with email address. If it doesn't have the format of a real email address, it'll also get rejected. So you go next, and then the second page is business detail, and then the sections. I didn't customize this section, but you can customize it, so on and so forth. And then once you've submitted everything, you can actually review it. It will now send the document to the vendor to sign as the final step before it now gets filed away for you to look at whenever you have time to do that. So that's how you automate your vendor onboarding form, your vendor request forms. You do it once and you can use it over and over and over again. If this looks interesting to you, you can start a free trial down below. And if you want more information on automation, business processes, just running and operating your business, then make sure you check out the playlist on the screen, and I will see you in the next video.